California. There is not enough time for one person or one group to get the message out. So we all need to start our own groups and get out there and spread this. Even if your group is a small housewives luncheon, and you meet with a group of ladies that are moms and get together with them like every month or so, I encourage you to do that so that you stay informed and that you're able to fight back and push back on all of this nonsense that's going on. So let's start this presentation, and I just wanted to kind of give you, first of all, a comprehensive sex education has evolved in the last 40, 50 years. What's something, back in the day, as you can see, the pictures in black and white have, basically more standard, you're showing your body organs, different things that talks about, how babies are made, all of that. That has now evolved to this, Happy National Masturbation Month. The more radical of the curricula, this one is from one of the, and I'll talk about the curricula in a little bit, but this is actually part of the curriculum that's out there, that's standard and approved and being adopted in certain schools, okay? So you can see how things have really gone down this slippery slope in the last few decades. So a 2018 report from the American College of Pediatricians, okay, so this is an official organization, says, included in the CSE, the Comprehensive Sex Ed Ideology, is the idea that young people, and look at these four things. These things are so radical. Number one, should be free from sexual inhibitions, okay? Number two, should lose outdated moral constraints. Basically, that's code language, as you can see, for our values considered outdated. So keep that in mind. Okay, number three, should make up their own minds about when they're ready for sex. That to me sounds like parental defiance right there. And number four, should be free to enjoy sexual pleasure. Okay, number four is basically saying, you know what, you don't need to care about anything else. Your instincts are all you should follow, and everything else be damned. This is very, very damaging, okay? And even the American College of Pediatricians recognizes that. So how did we get to this point today? We got to this point because of legislation. We, in this state, have been very inactive, unactive, checked out from voting, from being part of, caring about what our lawmakers and our legislators do. So we got to this point where one party now has a supermajority, and they are now beholden to certain special interests, and those special interests have pushed for some of this radicalization and youth sexuality. So could you play this video right now so you can see the woman that originated the Chia bill that was just asked about? I know America just did a presentation on that, but I want you guys to see for yourself this short video. Are we able to play sound or? No, that if you actually click on the video on that image, there should be a play button, and then it should play. Yeah. And then while they're loading that up, just so you know, this bill was correct me if I'm wrong, America, but 2015, right? Mm-hmm. It was passed. Okay, 2015, it was passed, and these are just straight up facts. I'm not telling you which party to vote for, but this was opposed by about 40 Republicans, and it was approved by all the Democrats, about 76 of them. So, yes.
329, which is the California Healthy Youth Act. Comprehensive sexual health and HIV prevention education has been shown to be effective in both delaying sexual activity and increasing contraceptive use among youth who are already sexually active.
Okay.
Hay que quitar una música de background.
Mhm.
Let's move on if you're having a hard time with that.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
All right. So basically, I just wanted to show you, and I think maybe you heard a little bit and piece of that.
There.
It's basically,
I'm pleased to present to you AB 329, which is the California Healthy Youth Act. Comprehensive sexual health and HIV prevention education has been shown to be effective in both delaying sexual activity and increasing condom and contraceptive use among youth who are already sexually active. LGBT inclusive education has also been shown to have a positive effect on school climate overall and make LGBT youth feel safer in schools. Research also shows that health education can improve students' academic outcomes, including areas of reading and math.
Wow.
so you can hear clearly, just even in what she says, there's an agenda right there. And a lot of this stuff is actually not, proven, or she's not backing it up with any studies. These are claims she's putting out there. Just keep that in mind when people from the left or people will attack you and say that our stuff is like that. They are pushing their own ideology. Do not forget that fact. And then moving on, I want to actually show you clips, little bits, excerpts from the actual bill. So back to CHIA, back to the AB 329. We're looking at the bill would require school districts to ensure that all pupils, grades 7 to 12, inclusive, receive comprehensive sexual health education and HIV prevention education as specified. Okay? So that is middle school through high school, basically. A school district that elects to offer comprehensive sexual health education or HIV prevention earlier than grade 7 may provide age-appropriate and medically accurate information on any of the general topics. So keep this in mind. They're saying that K through 6, you can start talking about this stuff. And they, in a way, encourage that. Okay, instruction and materials shall affirmatively recognize that people have different sexual orientations, and when discussing or providing examples of relationships and couples, shall be inclusive of same-sex relationships. This is why you're seeing in some of the curriculum, they're starting to put, even conjectures, which is basically a theory, because no one can prove it, that say Abraham Lincoln was gay. Okay, things like that is starting to get very ridiculous, and you can see where the law allows for this stuff to creep in because of the way it is worded. Instructions and materials shall teach pupils about gender, okay, that's fine. Gender expression, which is actually the word that they use for cross-dressing. So that is something that the left has been very good at taking a word that is formerly has a negative stigma and changing the language and sneaking it into a bill like this, okay? Gender identity, which I'm sure, America had mentioned this, a lot in the last presentation, and explore the harm of negative gender stereotypes, okay? To provide pupils with the knowledge and skills they need to develop healthy attitudes concerning adolescent growth and development, body image, gender, sexual orientation, relationships, marriage, and family. Now, this is the one that really frightens me. Okay, this one is instructions and materials should encourage a pupil to communicate with his or her parents. I agree with that. Guardians and other trusted adults about human sexuality and provide the knowledge and skills necessary to do so. Now, this has been manipulated to bring as much more and more crazy stuff into the classroom, because obviously under other trusted adults would be your teachers, right? And another thing is, this language, though, also opens it up so it's appropriate for, say, a neighbor to talk to your young child about these matters. So just think about that, about how, this bill was written. And remember, Assemblywoman Shirley Weber was the one that put this bill on the floor. School districts may contract with outside consultants or guest speakers. Okay, this is what America was talking about just now, right? Why is it that we have to keep up with the kids, who's the speakers are coming, that your kids are listening to? This is why, okay? They have contracted, and of course, who are they bringing in? They're bringing in Planned Parenthood. They're bringing in a very slanted viewpoint. See, I wouldn't mind if you have the schools showing multiple sides of things. But as you know, in this current environment, they are showing one side. And it is not ever taking into account our values and what we believe in. Okay?
Excuse me. Can you go back to the previous slide?
Okay.
On talking about the neighbors?
This one.
Okay. That's part of the bill?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is the
Yes.
law. I am showing you the
So
actual.
that means that whether my son, my grandson, they can go to my neighbor, and if he's a predator, he can talk to him?
Notice how they're making the predator laws more lax and who's registering on the list. Just keep that in mind. This is the environment we are in now. I know it's shocking, right? So remember this, yes, the outside consultants that's very important, okay, because they're bringing in, people from the LGBT community, to come in and read stories, this type of thing. Obviously, because the school has a lot of discretion now. All outside consultants and guest speakers shall have expertise in comprehensive sex ed and HIV prevention and have knowledge, blah, 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 okay? So just remember that part. The school districts have a lot of leeway now to contract speakers. Okay, opt out. Okay, a lot of people, and I think this was mentioned earlier, you can opt out of comprehensive sex ed. You can opt out of HIV prevention. You cannot opt out of gender identity education. Okay, just keep that in mind. Certain school districts are doing creative ways to bundle all three and allowing everyone to opt out, but that is not the law. The law is gender identity is part of that law.
And
Okay?
can't the schools get in trouble if they do make it to where we can opt out?
Absolutely.
So,
That can happen. And
Just
we're-
until the ACLU catches them and sues them.
Okay, and just remember that opting out is a lot more difficult than opting in, right? So because of the current laws, now you have to actually put the request in writing. And they didn't give you a standard form where you could just click. They actually left that very open. So there are some great organizations like Pacific Justice Institute. If you go on their website, pji.org, you can actually get a ready-made opt-out form and you can put that into, but think about it. Your average person, everyone here that's come here is very concerned, very informed, and trying to get more informed. But think about the average person out there. They're not. So do you think that they would find some way to get that, form if it's not made easy for them? Probably not, right? So one of the things is, and I can email this to everyone in the room, so I think everyone signed up on the, if you haven't signed in, please make sure you sign in on the form, because
It didn't came this way.
yeah, okay, make sure that the clipboard gets around here. And I will email this out, which actually lists all of the assemblymen and state senators that voted for this law and the ones that voted against. Okay, keep that in mind. Once again, this is factual, and then you can make your own decision how you want to deal with that legislator. Okay, so let's get to the curriculum now. The curriculum, there's 6 different curricula out there, ranging from pretty radical to super radical. Okay, this keeps cutting out this mic. These are 6 of the examples here, and I'm going to actually show you. Here, let's switch it out. Thank you. I'm going to show you the few things from each curriculum. Not all of them, but I'll give you little excerpts. So the 3 R's, this is the rights, respect, and responsibility. This one, this curricula has very interesting exercises. The first one is very, very explicit. And remember, 7th graders are experiencing this. And school districts also have the option, if they're younger, to expose this stuff as well if they deem appropriate. The first one, here's one of the activities. When do you think someone, that's a question they ask, when do you think someone is ready to have sex, either oral, vaginal, or anal sex with their partner? So you see, even in the wording, there's an agenda already from the wording. And then the second one's even more explicit. Plan a role play. So they will get 2 boys from the classroom and say, plan a role play in which Morgan talks to Terrence about what's going on, and they make a decision about whether to have sex. That speaks for itself. And then, one of the interesting things is, of course, when we're talking about resources, because of course the kids' interests will already be piqued, right? Looking at all this stuff, this is all very new, very exciting. They provide follow-up resources where the kids can go check out, and learn more, right? And these are just some of the websites that they are promoting in these curricula. Okay? And some of them are pretty radical. I just want to kind of shine the light on the first one and the fourth one. Advocates for Youth. Do a Google search on Advocates for Youth, and you will see that they are a national organization, a national 501c3 that is dedicated to promoting youth sexuality. Keep that in mind. And they are the ones writing up our curriculum. Isn't that crazy? Mm-hmm. So just keep that in mind, that special interest groups have taken over our state and our education system here. Okay. The fourth one is an organization that probably a lot of you already know, which is Planned Parenthood. But let me tell you, this actual portal for the teens is not directly linked from their main website. So if you go to PlannedParenthood.org, you're not going to see a link for teens. This you actually have to type in yourself and put the /teens to get to a special section that is what a lot of these curricula are pointing the kids to. So check it out and do the research for yourself. This is another website that they're promoting. It's called Scarlet Teen. Okay, the Scarlet Teen has a lot of talk about
And the book.
Yeah.
That book that I told you about.
Exactly. So they're promoting stuff like that. So